When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. OBASEKI Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020-7739-7549 or go online at www.legalpal.com. When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. OBASEKI Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020-7739-7549 or go online at www.legalpal.com.
Good evening. Welcome back again to another episode of Truth and Justice TV. I hope you've had a marvelous week, and this week to come, I hope is going to be even more fantastic. And before you say the B word, and you know what the B word is, I'm going to remind you that in this confusing time, in this initial part of the year, the most important thing is you. So before you get stressed about deal, no deal, or crashing out, before you start thinking about the New Year's resolutions that you've broken already, I'm going to say to you, look, take a step back, relax, and let's focus on you. Welcome to Truth and Justice TV. I'm Jennifer OBASEKI, and I have special guests for you. One of them you've met before, and it's the amazing Neusa. And she's going to be reminding us about how to keep ourselves fit, toned, and well in this season. So, before much more ado, Neusa, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
To our wonderful guests who've not met you before, you might do a brief introduction.
Mm-hmm. So, my name's Neusa Katoja. I am the founder of Free to Embrace Me, which is a holistic movement for women and teenage girls who suffer from mental health issues. And basically what we do is we offer classes, holistic programs, you name it, to basically help people become more confident, to find themselves again and basically find the joy in life and, of course, reduce stress.
Of course, reduce stress. Now, the last time you were here, you were good enough to teach us one or two exercises. Now, I think I reminded you that I am allergic to the gym, yeah? Not that I'm allergic to the gym, but I'm basically quite a lazy woman, I must say. But I've started to walk more, I've started to do some more things. But for those people out there who put those barriers or excuses like I do in front of things, can you give them just 3 tips to get them back into the mojo of wellness? Putting themselves first and eating healthy.
Okay, so obviously everybody's come back with New Year's resolutions. I'm going to get to the gym, I'm going to eat healthy, and it's like...
Some of us are feeling guilty for overindulging.
Exactly.
Overindulging during the Christmas, I must admit, I did.
Even myself, I said I'm going to do a detox, and I tell you, I've already broken it. Because it's not realistic and it doesn't feel good to me to remove all the things that I really love. So for me, for people who feel guilty and they do want to start something, I just say start slow with something that you enjoy. So for example, okay, my sister's gonna hate me for this, but she doesn't like going to the gym neither. I've tried many, many times, and she doesn't. She likes eating good food, which I do as well. So what she does is, a good example that she's given me is when she's at work, every time she gets a lunch break or any break or has to go to the toilet, she goes to the toilet and does 10 squats.
10 squats.
Or
That's
more.
true. That's a good way to, because you're in that cubicle, you can do it.
Exactly. So basically, by the time you've gone to the toilet, God knows how many times, you probably would have ended up doing about 100. For people who don't know what squats are, I'm going to show you in a minute. And you can actually do it from this chair.
A
So
chair exercise, I like
Are you
that.
going to do it with me?
I'm going to try.
Okay, so we're sitting down here. Hopefully you can all see us. And you literally just stand up, squeeze
Oh,
your bum.
squeeze.
Sorry, I put my hands dead. And back down. Again, squeeze and you squeeze. You also
And
squeeze your
the
tummy.
Back
Sit
down.
down.
Okay.
Again, squeeze up, down, and then you can do your 10, and then you can sit down.
Don't just stand up and sit down. You actually have to squeeze those muscles,
Yes,
you know.
squeeze the muscles and feel it. I mean, if you don't want to do it with the chair, you can do it without the chair. But for somebody
Okay.
who's starting out, I know you might look strange in your office chair going up and down.
So don't do it in the office. You can do
Yeah,
like 10
yes,
in the
exactly.
toilet.
You know, okay, go to the toilet seat, and the toilet's a little bit lower, which is even better.
Okay, that's
The
even
lower
better.
you go,
Uh-huh.
the better. So you're in the toilet, but don't sit on the toilet seat. 'Cause some people don't like
Some
to do
people
that.
don't touch,
So-
you know.
Almost touch
Hover.
hover over, perfect. And then you come up, you squeeze those muscles, come back down.
That's true.
You squeeze them up, the tummy's
Squeeze
nice
the
and
tummy.
tight. Back down again. And that's it. That's
And,
one
you know,
exercise.
I see the way you're dressed, all looking fit and ready to go. But I'm in a dress, you know. I'm in
Still
quite
do
a
it.
formal dress. I'm still doing it. So there's no excuses.
Yeah.
Don't say you're not dressed for it. Again, I can say I'm allergic to that, but, you know, don't make these excuses. You can do it even in a dress and tights and heels.
Exactly. No
So,
excuses. Even with heels, it's perfect.
uh-huh.
I know I shouldn't be saying this, but you know, when you're working out with heels, you've got your legs
Calf
kind of,
is,
your
you
calves,
know,
working on your calves.
You're working on your
You
calves.
shouldn't really, because it's not health and safety and everything, and it's not really good to work out
But
with
if you're
heels.
squatting in the
But
toilet
you're in
doing
an
a couple,
office,
yeah.
it doesn't matter. You just got to work with what you've got.
Work with what you've got.
Yes,
What else can we sort of do?
So, okay, another tummy exercise.
Yes,
you know, we
I need
ladies
those.
love this. You're sitting on a chair. You're going to kind of lean forward, sort of to the edge of the chair.
Uh-huh.
So your bum's at the edge of the chair.
Okay.
You're going to lean back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to bring one leg in.
Ooh.
Squeeze the tummy muscle.
Squeeze
Down.
tummy.
Squeeze in.
Ooh. Squeeze
Down.
tummy.
When you squeeze in, bring your body forward.
Ah,
so you've got
I see.
that squeeze and down.
I
Can you
actually
feel
feel that. Yes, I did.
Yes. You can lean back a bit more. So if
Uh-huh.
you're a beginner, you can
Uh-huh.
go back into the chair a little bit more and just
Okay.
lift. You know,
Ah.
if you're of age and you've got back problems,
Okay.
you can actually be leaning against the chair completely and just lifting. You
So
already
work with
feel
your.
the
If you've got
squeeze.
restrictions.
Yes, if
And
you've
you
got back
can't, you know,
problems.
put that leverage on the tummy, then you know, give yourself a little bit of an ease and go back in
Yeah.
the chair. But if you can, if you're like me and you need to tone it up.
You just go forward, slide down the chair,
Uh-huh.
and then you can
Yes.
just squeeze.
Oh.
And then if you're brave enough and you want to be advanced, sorry, I'm going a bit too much. Cause
I'm not
I do
advanced,
love
so I'll watch.
exercise. So here, let's just make sure I don't fall off this chair. You can bring both legs together.
Both legs together.
Not on this chair, because this
But
chair
not on.
comes-
But
But you can
you
bring both legs in
you
and
can.
out. In
Be
and out.
careful, but
Yeah.
make sure that you do something.
Yeah.
So we've got squats. We've got the what do you call that? The
tummies.
tummies.
Yeah.
And what else can we do while
While we're sitting down, you know, your arms and your shoulders. It's one thing that I must admit, a lot of women don't like to work on the upper part, and I actually don't neither. I find
I don't work on
weaker
any
on the
part,
top.
but I'm gonna make an effort.
I find that
'Cause I'm
I'm
gonna put
weaker on
myself
top.
first.
I'm
Yes.
stronger on my thighs. I can do squats all day long.
Really?
Yeah. But up here,
Uh-huh.
I struggle. But one exercise that I do, and I do it a lot with my clients, you literally lean forward.
Ooh, like Superman.
Yeah, your back muscles are tight and
Uh-huh.
engaged, and you're gonna squeeze your back muscles and then lean forward. Squeeze, lean forward.
I feel that all here.
Squeeze.
Is that what I'm supposed to be
It's
feeling?
gonna
It?
work on your back
As
here,
well?
Yes. You know this area that we don't like? They call it the back fat.
The back fat, the bingo wings,
the
everything.
bingo wings. Exactly, because you're doing this, you're actually working on your arms as well.
Really?
Yeah?
That's good. But it's like Supergirl pose,
That's it.
yeah?
Just literally, you lean forward.
And
You
you-
can have it up, But the more you kind of lean forward, the more you can really squeeze.
So like a 45-degree angle.
So when you squeeze, you're like this. You're squeezing your
all
back
those
muscles.
back muscles.
And then squeeze.
Aha.
And I think when you do that, you look sexy as well, don't you? That's
so you
another
can get your better half to also help you with these if you have a better half.
Yeah.
Me, I'm going to get my kids roped in. They're like, Mummy, when are you going to get fit? And I'm like, I'm trying, I'm coming. And, you know, just encourage yourselves if you've got friends as well. And the other thing somebody said to me is, you know, just go onto YouTube and dance around the house, do the exercises around the house with friends.
I mean,
if you don't want to go to a gym, do it in the front room.
I've got a teenage daughter. She wants to get fit, but with exams going on and, you know, she can be a little bit lazy. What we've done is, I said to her, wake up 10 minutes earlier. We'll go downstairs. I either go for a few exercises with her, or the other day we'll just put on a dance video together. Wow. She absolutely loved it.
Yeah?
In 10 minutes, she got a workout, got ready for school, and she actually feels that now that she works out, she's got better focus.
It builds up that adrenaline, and if they've had a balanced meal in the morning, there you go. You've made sure that your young adult in your house is actually ready to go, not really having the loads of butter, toast, cheese and going out maybe without even really thinking. Some of them go out with no healthy food, no exercise, and then before you know it, they're on the chicken and chips lunch and then coming home and having more stuff when you're not there, snacks.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, the snack word for most kids is biscuits and things. But for us adults, again, what can we snack on that is actually going to help with our wellness program?
Yeah. I mean, exercise is very important, but you've all heard that 80% is nutrition, if not even more.
Yes.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at it. If you're very active, you can consume a lot more, and you will consume a lot more. But if you're not very active, you have to be careful with your portions. So snacking, nuts are good, but not too much. Again, fruits are very good to have here. Especially, I'm talking about people working at office, because I know sometimes you've got the office biscuits, you've got the chocolates, and the temptation is there. So
back from Christmas, those of you who came to our office, you know the amount of biscuits, sweets, cakes, and these were just presents from clients and different things. Yeah. And I counted at least 4 packets, and the thing is, all consumed. Believe me, we're all feeling it.
I indulged as well, and I mean, like, yes, to have something healthy in your desk, actually. You'll think twice before you go, okay, the biscuits are there. Because I used to work in an office, and every Friday without fail, somebody would be in cakes, donuts, and the temptation is there. But when I had my fruit and my nuts, I didn't go hungry, and I didn't have the temptation. And what's very important is also regularly snacking and eating. So 3 meals a day, and in between, you have a healthy snack.
Snacks.
That reduces your hunger, and it also reduces the high and low blood sugar levels that we go up and down. I don't want to go scientific here, but when you're hungry, your blood sugar levels go down. And you really crave that sugar because you want to raise your blood sugar back up again. So what do? Biscuits, chocolates, it's going to raise it.
Or wash down with a hot
cup of
milky,
tea,
sweet cup of tea. But no, we're going to stop. So what can we substitute the liquids with?
Liquids, again, herbal teas.
Herbal teas.
Herbal teas are very, very good for you. Herbal teas, you know, I know people like their coffee first thing in the morning. Have 1 coffee, you know. Over-consuming, up until 12, 1 o'clock, no more coffee.
Okay,
that's it. Because, again, with stress, people are overly stressed. Having caffeine is actually worse for you. So having a 1 cup of coffee or 2 before lunchtime, but the rest of the day, lots of water, lots of herbal teas, because again, it's water that you're having in there. Yeah. And healthy juices like coconut water is amazing for dehydration. Healthy juices, squeezed juices.
Not concentrate, okay?
You have to be careful what juices you're buying and consuming.
So please, no longer stressing. Worry about you first, and don't even worry. Just take it 1 step at a time. You've heard from the expert. And with teas, we had Mr. Delgatti a few weeks ago. He's got some excellent herbal teas that you can use and substitute instead of these sweet coffees and teas that you've been drinking. Have something herbal that's good for you. And before you dash off and before we start looking at just the key things of Brexit, where can people find you and how can people link up with you and find out about some of the events, wonderful events you do?
Okay, right, I'm everywhere now. I'm everywhere on Instagram, and it's free2 embrace me. The website's not up and running yet, it will be, but I post a lot of the videos of the things that I do. I now am running a program for 12 weeks called Free to Embrace Me, Afro-Kids Movement, Health and Wellbeing Movement for women who suffer from mental health. So for the next 3 weeks, I've actually got free taster classes.
Free, that's
Free.
our favourite word. One of my
Free
favourite
to embrace
words.
me, and it's free. So the idea is that you come into a circle of women who are going through something. And not only do we share what we're going through, we connect as women. We also do yoga, meditation, mindfulness, dance, fitness, and it's just such an energizing movement that no matter how you're feeling when you come into the class, you come up there feeling uplifted. I'm very passionate about it. It's something that helped me with what I went through. And for the next 3 weeks, every Tuesday, one tomorrow from 6 to 8:30, we've got the taster, what I call a girls' night in.
Okay.
And that's leading up to my workshop, which is called on the Saturday 26th of January, which is a self-confidence workshop again for women, which I'll also be running. My events are on Eventbrite. You can find them if you search for free2 embrace me, or you can connect to me by emailing Neusa, Neusa, at free2 embraceme.com.
free2embraceme.com. So
Yes.
thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much for
Remember,
having me.
most importantly, you are what's important. Forget the resolutions, etc., but focus on what you can do.
Yeah.
The few little moves you've been taught today, I hope you do keep up with them. And remember, when you go to the loo, you can do a couple of squats. You can even do the Supergirl.
No one will see you.
No one will see you. So thank you. We're going to
Yes.
take a very short break. Then when we come back, forget crashing out or deal or no deal. We'll just give you a few hints on the few key things you should consider when it comes to Brexit. So see you after this short break.
Bye.
When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. OBASEKI Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020-7739-7549 or go online at www.legalpal.com. When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. OBASEKI Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020-7739-7549 or go online at www.legalpal.com.
Welcome back to Truth and Justice TV, and thank you for staying with us. Now, tomorrow is the key day. Tomorrow's the big vote. Now, I'm not sure whether you're aware, but you need to be aware. Tomorrow, the MPs vote on Theresa May's deal that she brought back from Europe. Some people don't seem to understand why so many MPs are against it, or some people feel that the deal is not good enough and it doesn't mean Brexit. So today we're going to think about what is Brexit, whether you should be worried, stressed, or anything like that. I've gone over this topic before, but on a sincere note, I just want to give you the key things that you should be thinking about. If you are an EU national living here, if you're not an EU national but you're doing business, or you are a family member of an EU national, and also, really and truly, if you have relatives that are living in other EU countries, what they should be doing, because it's not really certain what rights they may have. So my special guest for this segment is an amazing person. He's a doctor as well. He's an academic doctor. He's a European law specialist, a human rights specialist, and a religious freedom specialist. And his name is Dr. Alex Amicarelli. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you very much for
Thank you,
honouring our
Jennifer.
invitation to come to
Thank you.
Truth and Justice TV.
My pleasure.
I've given quite a big introduction for you. If you want to tell our viewers more about yourself so that they know exactly who you are.
Yes, I originally come from Europe, from Italy specifically, and I first qualified in Italy as a lawyer. So when it comes to Brexit and to the implication of Brexit in the lives of European citizens, I perfectly know firsthand what it means to European people living in the UK. Jennifer has just introduced some of the
Many hats you wear.
exactly, but also the many areas of our lives that will be likely to be affected by
Yes.
the Brexit. The Brexit is going to affect, and in some way it has already started affecting our lives since almost 3 years ago. For the last almost 3 years, we have been like in a roundabout, running, waiting to exit.
Yeah.
As you just said, tomorrow Parliament is going to vote on
The deal.
on the deal.
The deal.
So the withdrawal agreement. It's a very big question common. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't have realistic forecasts on what is going to happen tomorrow.
Well, it's unprecedented, so there can't really be forecasts, can there?
Exactly. But what we perfectly know is that if there is no deal, so if the vote goes wrong tomorrow, there will be no transition period. What is transition period? Transition period is 21 months of transition from the 29th of March, which is the day of Brexit.
Leaving, the day where
The
Britain
day-
leaves.
Leaving the UK, leaving the EU, so that the country and people in the country can get used.
Adjustment period. yeah.
Adjustment period, step by step, very slowly, because it's not easy to live
Such
the
a
EU
massive organisation. But can I
from
just
night
ask you?
to morning.
I know, it's not something can be done overnight, but if they suspend Article 40, they postpone it, that means that we won't leave in March, if they manage to postpone it. Because they've asked Theresa May for, what is your plan B going to be? And she has 3 days, if this vote doesn't go well, she has 3 days to come up with a plan B. So that's the first thing you need to know. So it's not an automatic crash out.
Yeah.
She has to put forward a plan B proposal, and if that's accepted, then we may not crash out. But if it's not accepted,
This
then
is a
we might.
problem. This is a problem.
So there's a lot of uncertainty.
There is a lot of uncertainty, and the problem is that if we are in a situation where there is no deal at all, where there is no B plan,
No plan
there
B.
is nothing.
Or accepted plan B.
So the problem is that on the 29th of March, we will be leaving the EU.
Deal or no deal.
Deal or no deal,
And that's
the
if they don't suspend
consequences-
Article 40.
Exactly, 50, yeah.
So if they
Yeah.
suspend it, that
Yeah.
means that the whole thing's postponed. And we hope that they would postpone everything and we don't crash it, because we don't want queues at Dover. I know people are saying there won't be queues at Dover. Believe me, there will be queues at Dover.
Of course.
And you know, 30% of what we eat
Yeah.
comes from Europe, and we don't want prices to be increased because there's a shortage.
Yeah.
We don't want there to be any kind of shortage that will be reflective on retail prices.
And we are always very optimistic,
Yes, we are optimistic.
but we are also realistic.
So if we're being realistic,
And-
should we have a Brexit box, a box of emergency supplies? Do we need to, Dr. Alex?
Probably yes,
Just in case.
just in case.
And if we are ordering medication from the European continent, should we have at least 6 months supply in advance?
Yeah. It
If
would be very important to do something like that.
now tell me this. Should people be emailing their MPs as to how they would like their MPs to vote? Because I was suggesting that last month.
Yes, we have been talking about this for a while, and that would have been a very good idea, doing something like that, to lobby local MPs. But let's say that people didn't really understand what the Brexit was about
Back then when the vote took
back
place.
then, but also over the last 2 years. There have been a lot of discussions, there have been a lot of talks, but not very in depth.
It's true. And I think that there's been a lot of presumptions by the MPs and a lot of grandstanding by the UK. With Great Britain, they must make a deal with us. Must they? They don't need to. And unfortunately, for me, I worry about the great expertise that is leaving the UK, because a lot of the European finance for research, development, for certain great institutions in the UK was funded by EU, and that funding may not come to the UK once UK is no longer part of, you know, this. And what key things should those who are European nationals living in the UK do? Give them 3 top things that they should be doing.
Okay, over the last few months, actually, since the day after the vote, we have been advising people to find a way to legally settle in the country.
Okay.
So I've always been telling people the UK is a fantastic country. Reason why I came to this country. There are so many opportunities in this country.
Yes.
The system is very flexible, which is good. There are many opportunities to find a way to find yourself in the right position in case of very hard Brexit. One of the ways is to apply for permanent residence. There are mainly 2 different types of permanent residence. There is the permanent residence and the non-permanent residence. I mean, after a European Union citizen has been living and working or qualifying in other way in the country for at least 5 years, they can apply for permanent residence. If they have not spent 5 years in the country
Working or exercising.
or
yeah.
exercising treaty rights, that's very, very important.
Because people just think that living, but you've got to be economically active, and some people miss that bit out. And you
Miss
must
that.
also have a level of insurance. Some people miss that bit out too.
So that's why I say the system is very flexible. The UK is very different from Italy. In Italy, everything is regulated in a very strict way, which is not the case in this country. But this, in some cases, can be against you. Because you are not obliged to do registrations.
That's true.
But if you do, you will be in a better position.
So many people that are from the European Union, European countries have been here, and because they've not been obligated to register themselves, they've just not done it. But now time is running out. So you would advocate that number 1 is get a best form of settlement or registration, and also for your dependents.
For your dependents, that's very important, because there are cases of husband or wife that are qualified EU citizens, and the wife or husband or the other spouse is not.
So one person may be
One person
qualified and the other
may
person
be
doesn't.
in a very weak
Position.
position. Because until now, we have not been thinking about what's going to happen. I'm a European citizen. There is
I can
free
be here.
movement.
No free
I
movement.
can be here. I don't need to register. There is not mandatory ID card. There is no mandatory registration with the council. So people have been here for ages.
Without doing it.
without doing anything. But it must be done as soon as possible.
The Home Office was supposed to open a portal, an online portal at the end of December. What's happened to that?
There is this new settled status scheme and pre-settled
Okay.
scheme. It started in kind of experimental
So
way.
they did an experimental stage around October.
This
yeah.
experiment with some people mainly employed by the NHS. This system is supposed to be fully operating from the 30th of March.
Oh.
What is a little bit confusing for people that have applied in the past for registration certificate or permanent residence card or permanent residence document, they find it confusing the fact that they need to apply again for pre-settled and settled status, regardless of the fact they already have obtained
The Home
it.
Office said they will not be charging for this,
They said they're not going to charge,
so that's a key thing.
but you still need to apply.
But you still need to do it.
To do
I'm
it.
not sure that they've publicised this to everybody, but
Not too much.
here on Truth and Justice TV, we will
Yes.
keep you give you the most up-to-date information. So that's the one thing that they should do. But what is the second most important thing they should do?
Second most important thing is to do all, apart from this kind of personal registration, is the, if you have a business, protect your business.
Yeah.
Do your best to protect your business and your assets.
Yeah, we spoke about protecting your assets, making sure that if you've got a lease of a business that you actually start to value, do your audits showing that you are trading with your accounts and things like that. But your supply chain, if your goods are coming from the European continent, apart from stocking up where you can, because perishable goods you can't stock up on until there is clear, concise decision as to what's being, what the agreement's going to be. But you might want to secure your supply chains by doing some registrations, having distribution partners. That's if your goods are going to the continent, having distribution partners, or having another office or branch registered on the European continent, or in Ireland, because it's English language that they use there. So what else can they do?
What else? Let's look at my case. I came to the UK and I started practicing law on the basis of the qualification I obtained in my country. And I could do this thanks to the EU laws.
Yes, EU provisions for
So
professionals.
if you qualify in a country, you are very likely to be able to move, settle and work in another country.
Another European country.
The day after the Brexit, we lawyers received a letter from the Law Society.
Ooh.
It was a very passionate letter. The Law Society said, whatever is going to happen with the Brexit, we want to keep our independence and we want to keep our profession as open and welcoming as possible.
I see.
People need advice, and the contribution given by lawyers from other jurisdictions is very important.
It's invaluable.
Also for the British people needing advice for investments in other countries,
Indeed.
for getting a second citizenship and a second passport. The number of applications of people wanting to get a second citizenship has increased a lot after the Brexit.
Don't be like the guy arrested in Russia and have 4 nationalities. But if you can apply for a second citizenship and you're entitled either to Irish, German, and, Italian, French, then explore, because that will then give you an extra limb. You might be able to then rely on your European rights to then bring in extra family members and do other things that will be available to you during the transitional period. Very important.
There are also other ways to get, for instance, the Italian citizenship or the French or Spanish one.
Tell us.
It's
Tell
the
them.
elective residence. So by making investment,
Yes.
you can get, after a period of generally 10 years, you can get the citizenship. The Italian scheme is very interesting. because you just need to buy a property. There is not minimum
Investment.
exactly,
Really?
but the main requirement is that you need to have income of at least 30,000 euros per year for the first applicant, and the amount is decreased for
The subsequent.
the subs.
applicants.
Exactly.
Now, people struggle to come into the UK and get settlement. We understand that. But for our viewers who might be watching from India, from Africa, the UK may not be the country of primary destination. You might think about schemes that are available, as you've heard, in Italy, in Malta, in Greece. So we can, you know, if people want to know more information about that, can they
They can
contact
email
you?
us. Yes, of
And you'll be able to help them.
Of
So
course,
you
yeah.
can invest a much less amount than is required in the UK. And within some of these countries, between 5 and 10 years, you can secure citizenship. And that's a good thing. So it's about thinking smart and being strategic when you want to do an international investment now.
yes.
Very interesting. So the British citizens that are in these European countries, what do they do? Because it's not really certain as to what their rights
This is
will be.
the other side of
The
the
flip
story.
side of the coin.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot of people living in Spain, a lot of people living in places like
There are
Malta.
about 1.5 million Britons
Interesting.
living in European Union countries. And there have been some kind of agreements. Italy has an agreement with, recently, there's been an agreement between Italy and the UK to secure the rights of
Those living.
living in Italy. A big amount of Britons live in Spain,
Yes.
especially in South Spain. So the hope, the hope is that politicians, the authorities, European Union, the UK, parliamentarians,
Those MPs.
the other MPs from the other countries, they find a way to
A
work
happy
together.
medium.
We need to find a way to work together, to find the best way to divorce. Because this is
Yes.
like a divorce. It's a divorce. And we need to find the best way to divorce.
Now, when we think about some of the things that you do, yes, you're a European expert. Yes, you're an investment expert when it comes down to people coming into the European continent area wanting to try and apply for settlement. But you also deal with religious freedoms.
Yes.
What does that entail?
Okay. Freedom of religion and belief is one of the very basic right of people. All human beings have the right to believe whatever they want or not to believe. Nobody can be forced to believe or not to believe. For people that live in this country, it may sound a little bit weird to say,
What is
why
religious
you
freedoms?
need to talk about freedom of religion in Europe? But this is there is a big difference between the very long-standing tradition in this country, ensuring freedom of religion to everybody, and what happens in other European countries and outside the European Union as well.
That's true. So I've heard of cases of people being arrested in Russia for things like being Jehovah's Witnesses and other arbitrary arrests, especially in China. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to maybe discuss this after the break and give the viewers a chance to call in. So if you want to call in, now's your chance. I'm going to ask them to open the phone lines. And if you've got any questions, you can post them online, or you can call into the studio, or send them by email to info@obasekisolicitors.com. So we'll take a very, very short break, and then we will come back afterwards with the phone lines being open, and we'll take your questions. So thank you. See you shortly.
When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. OBASEKI Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020 7739 7549 or go online at www.legalpal.com.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Now it's a case of calling in if you have questions. If you're shy, send us an email. If not, then we'd love to hear from you. And we've been talking about obviously putting yourself first, not getting stressed over anything. It's a new year. Plan. Think about you. Think about your wellness. At the same time, the big vote tomorrow, Brexit. But don't get so stressed. If you really are passionate, email your MP what you think. And then it's going to be left to them. And no matter where the cards fall, hard Brexit, soft Brexit or crash out, you still have to be your best you. So we only want you to concern yourself with what is relevant to you. And I have my expert with me, Dr. Alex Amicarelli. Thank you for joining us this evening. And so you can ask your questions. What you need to do if you are a European Union citizen, you're staying in the UK, what if you're living in another European country and you're not sure what to do? And if you're in business, what's the best way to protect your assets and your supply chain? So key, because unfortunately, we've only been hearing from big business during this time. I haven't seen structured advice to SME businesses about Brexit, but we've been doing our best for our clients, and also through most of the programming. If you've been watching any of the programs I've done on Brexit, I've particularly tried to give key information and advice to those people who are operating SME-sized businesses, because the last thing I would want is for there to be some crash out and you've not actually taken the few small steps that are necessary to try and help protect your interests. So just a revision on what we told people, which is register. Register do your residence and also for your dependents.
Children, for all the people that live with you.
Extended relatives. Also, if there was any relatives that you wanted to invite, do it now.
As soon as possible.
It's so urgent that because as a European national, you're allowed up to 3 dependents. So if you have children that you've been supporting outside of the EU, invite them in for settlement visas now, so far as you meet the requirements.
Also those who obtain the permanent residence since at least 12 months to apply for the British citizenship.
Yeah.
If you want to do so, of course.
If you want to get your British citizenship and you've had your permanent residence for 12 months as an EU national, you need to apply for your British citizenship.
Some people are worried about the life in the UK test.
Of course, it's hard. Have you done it? I've done it. I've not even passed it. And when I'm trying to teach my clients the life in the UK test,
I know,
you teach them to go online and practice. And you also look at the past question papers. It's not easy, but I'm not saying that to discourage you, but I'm telling you that so that you make the effort and make the time for it. Once you do it, it's out of the way. But yes, do it.
Do it as soon as possible.
If you're not well and you suffer from any condition that prevents you from studying it, you can get an exemption. And if you're over 65, you're exempt. So if you have a condition, epilepsy, migraines, stress, depression, you try and get an exemption from your GP on studying for the Life in the UK test, okay?
There is also the linguistic requirement, so you need to show evidence that you speak, understand English.
Okay.
Okay, and in this case also there are exemptions. So you must obtain a degree taught in English, either in the UK or in other country where English is the first language. They are.
You can get an exemption.
Yeah, so there are different ways to secure your application. When you make the applications, we always advise people provide as many evidence as possible.
What evidence? Some people might say, what evidence?
Every kind of evidence. It's not just about utility bills, council tax bills, or bank statement. You need to provide evidence that you live in this country, you work in this country, or you study in this country, and that you love this country. Because if you are here, you want to stay here for the rest of your life, it means that you love this country. So you have kind of affection to this country. So if you have a gym membership, provide copy of your gym membership card.
To show that you're active in the community.
You're active in the community. If you belong to any club, if you're a member of any club, do provide proof that you're a member of that club. If you go to theater, maybe you have a theater card or cinema subscription. Provide all the evidence you have. The more, the better. It's always like that.
The online application that the Home Office is going to eventually do will require you to upload some evidence, but they're going to be cross-checking with the HMRC, your records. That's why they're going to try and make it an online, easy, one-stop process. And at the end of it, the computer will either say settled status or pre-settled status. So try to make sure you keep your documents secure. And if you're not sure, come to an expert that will review your documents with you and advise you what needs to be uploaded.
This is another very important task, to keep records. Keep record of everything. These days, most people are gone
Digital,
paperless, but then maybe you have an electricity online account. You try to log in, and you realize that after 6 months,
there's no history.
there is no history.
So what should people be doing?
So you need to call the electricity company, and they will be sending you statements through the post.
Every quarter or something.
Sometimes it takes time. So if you have an online account, do print everything. Download every single bill, make a copy of it, more copies, and keep it safe.
So
because
if you have
you
a
will need it.
cloud storage, you might want to expand your Gmail or Yahoo or whatever a digital account you have with regards to your emails, and then try to keep a subfolder within there for your evidence, because you don't want to be running around like a squirrel the last minute.
Also with
to try and gather things.
HMRC records.
Yes.
If you contact HMRC to get copies of your records, it will be taking months. So best thing to do, if you are self-employed, you make annual returns, keep a copy of your annual returns. Keep a copy of your national insurance contributions. Don't rely on the fact that HMRC
will
have
provide
all
them.
the records and will be providing it to you.
Sometimes they're missing
Keep
things.
copies. Sometimes they are missing.
Yeah, and it might take them time, you know. And if you've been here for quite a while and you've gone between jobs, it also can be an issue. You might have records where employers are no longer available, or where employers failed to do certain things, and that we've seen quite a lot of, sadly. So you don't rely on other people. You rely on your own record keeping, and we see it quite a lot in the courts when certain applications get rejected. We see that the obligation is on you to provide evidence that you qualify or you're eligible for the status. So again, very, very important that you do take the steps to file off your information, keep it all stored safely, and apply at the right time.
And
That's
also keep
key.
copies of your, if you go abroad, keep copies of your tickets. Because when you apply for permanent residence, you need to provide a list of all the days in and out
Of the
if you
UK.
travel. And it's going to be quite complicated because there is no more stamp on passports. So, of course, you provide the information to the best of your knowledge and belief. So it may happen that someone doesn't remember
An
that
exact date.
10 years earlier he went to Portugal or to
And
Spain
spent
or
15
somewhere.
days, not 10 days.
Yeah. So it's very important to keep records. Everything, as much as you can. I know sometimes it means to have big boxes of papers, but it's for your future. It's for your application, and it's going to help you be successful.
So talking briefly again about the freedom of religion, we spoke briefly about it. Now in the UK, people might think, oh, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, and that's it, Jewish, Jehovah's Witness. But You spoke briefly about the freedom of religion, why it's so important that that's something that is protected, let's say.
Yeah, if we go around London, you will be seeing churches of every Christian denomination,
So many
temples
Christian
of every
denominations.
kind, mosques, synagogues, and any other religious worship place. It's not the same in other European countries because the legislation is different. It's quite easy to start your own mission in
Here.
the UK.
Yeah.
It's not
Anybody
the
can
same.
be a pastor here.
It's not the same in Italy. It's not the same in France. It's not the same in other countries. In Russia, you risk to be arrested
Wow.
only for being a member of a denomination,
Really?
either Jehovah's Witness or members of other churches like the Baptist Church and few other groups have been in trouble in Russia. The work we are doing, I'm currently chairing the European Federation for Freedom of Belief, which is a secular body. It's based in Italy, but I'm in the UK and other people are in other countries. And we are trying to do our best, also lobbying those in power, those MPs and members of the European Parliament and European institutions that can do something for improving freedom of religion
religious
and belief,
belief.
including the right of people to build their own churches, temples, synagogues, mosques, or whatever worship place without pressure, without undue limitations, without extra obligations and requirements that are not imposed to other groups.
Okay, so if somebody here has a religious denomination, a church, and they want to found that church in another European country, is that something you also can help them with?
Yes, I've been working with minority groups for the last 20 years. So it's something I'm very passionate about. Freedom is...
Well, you're the head of the
Yeah,
Organization for the
exactly.
Religious Freedom, so yes.
Yeah. And what is very interesting is that in this country and everywhere, there are people, goodwill in the institutions, in the public institutions. In the parliament, there are lords, baronesses that are doing a lot.
To help
And they-
support this.
They're supporting this. They don't just do this for the UK, but they operate internationally.
Trying to help protect
Trying to
people's rights to freedom of religious worship. And
Yes.
we're fortunate here in the UK. We are quite free to worship, but in some places, people are persecuted just for being Christians. And that's quite sad. And again, if there are religious groups or minority groups that are being persecuted because of their religious beliefs outside of the UK,
Yes.
is that something you can help
Yes,
with?
of course we can do this. We have been doing this for quite long, also with Jennifer. We've been working together on some cases. There is a case I want to recall, is complaint filed at the United Nations. We received the support in Parliament by Lord Alton,
Yes.
Lord Alton of Liverpool. He is a real authority in this field, and he inquired with Her Majesty's government. The government was going to support these complaints, and Lord Ahmed of Wimbledon said, indeed, the UK is
Wow.
going to support your complaints. So we are very hopeful,
Very helpful.
yeah, and
I know that many of our viewers may not know the extent of the human rights work that we do at OBASEKI Solicitors, but it's very international. I'm very, very proud of the whole of my team that work there. And it's very important work as well. So all I can say to you out there is if you do have any issues with regards to religious freedoms, if you do have any issues with regards to Brexit, feel free to contact us and we will be able to assist you. And that's not just in the UK, that's whether you want to establish a church outside of the UK, on the European continent, anywhere, or around the world. And again, if you're a member of a denomination, any denomination, and you are being persecuted as a result of your religious beliefs, we have a track record of helping, and making sure that your complaint is filed at the right global institutions and hopefully achieve success in your case. Now, thank you, Dr. Alex, for coming to join us. And I'm sure that some of those religious leaders out there that may have issues will be happy to contact you. And they can get through to you at info@obasekisolicitors.com or alex@obasekisolicitors.com.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. And those of you who joined me earlier for the exercises, please keep it up. It's important that no matter what's going on around you, you don't get stressed and that you focus on what's important, and that's your well-being. And Neusa, she's outlined, you can get through to her on a lot of her free events. If you need to get through to her, please feel free to email us and we will send you her contacts. Thanks for joining us once again on Truth and Justice TV. It's been a big packed show today, and no matter what happens in that vote tomorrow, no matter what, remember what's important is you. It's you. So remember, be good, and if you cannot be good, be careful, very careful, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. OBASEKI Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020-7739-7549 or go online at www.legalpal.com.